What is going on, y'all? Got my orientation locked. Yeah, I'm out here working. I'm actually doing a reinstall. These are actually, I'm be actually installing Halloween lights and Christmas lights in one swipe. So this right here is my stake lighting. Last year at January, well, not last year, beginning of this year, January, I took down all of my Christmas light displays and actually stored them into these totes into my storage unit, and it's time for the season again. Take them back out and install them again. um, I typically like to tag a lot of this stuff so I can remember exactly where it goes, etc. So you might see one piece of tape, two pieces of tape, maybe three pieces of tape, and typically I usually have a paper. I've done this house for 4 years now, and I pretty much can remember exactly where, you know, the tape and all those things go. And also, I can just look at the line and see exactly. These got stake lights. I just need to see which one is the longest. The longest one goes on this side. This right here, if you can see, they got glue on the side of them. When they got glue on the side of them, that lets me know that these bulbs go around the garage or around the door, because those are the only areas that actually need bulbs actually glued to the brick. To run power to this side of the driveway, to get that power going down, I typically, after I run my lighting from the door side through the garage on both sides, it come down to right here, and I actually use this crack that you can see right there, and it plugs into the stake lighting on this side of the driveway. That way I'm able to power both sides. This crevice right here, I usually use this crack here, have a jumper wire come over, and I actually go up this seam here, this brick, all the way up to the top of the roof line to actually get the jumper there. Leading up to the roof line, the power supply is right by the door, so I actually hot glue the jumper wire along this corner here, or on the brick, and then I tuck it behind the gutter, going all the way up to the rooftop, and actually in between the gutter and the soffit there, I actually slide the wire through. I take the female plug off, a male plug, female, and I actually squeeze it through there. That way I can put a little bit of hot glue on the back of the jumper wire, so I can actually feed it up and you won't see a wire dangling. That's how you kind of can hide it pretty good. And from there, once I get the power above that gutter line, it's pretty much go time from there. I can run pretty much power from the that piece, and I can run it up to the top all the way around the house because the power supply coming up. This display specifically is a little bit different. It's different because this is actually a RGB display, a dynamic lighting. So it's not just regular white bulbs, although they may look like that. So they're able to actually use these lights to make a Halloween display. They can make it chase, run, jump. They can make it do a lot of movement. It's not just lights. So with that being said, they're a little bit more costly as well. It's like almost $2 per bulb, pretty costly. And this house has at least, I believe, about 300 bulbs. So you can imagine this display is pretty costly. Good idea. Shut up. I don't know who that is, but anywho, also with this display as well, we use RGB for the reefs. I got some reefs that I actually wrap with the RGB type lighting, so it can actually do the same animations as the C9 bulbs, and those get wrapped around the reef. The trick with these lights and the functionality of it is to actually have the controllers running directly in place to the line. So I run multiple controllers. I believe I have like 6 controllers. I could just buy one, and it's, I think they're like $800 for the controller to control all this lighting. I think it controls up to 800 bulbs. Because when you got multiple strands, you have to make sure the power is coming directly off the jumper wire to the control box, to the C9, the E17 socket wire. Because if you don't, I had so many issues to where I couldn't actually get the display to function correctly, because you can't just run one remote and have, I mean, one controller and have 200 bulbs on. You got to split it up within certain spots, because they have a capacity. And what happens is, it seems like when you're running that much power on these certain lines, if it's overpowered, what'll happen is that controller box, it'll heat up, and then it'll malfunction, it'll start working. So last year I was buying them, like, I reached out to my distributor. I'm like, man, I bought like 20, 30 of these things, like, why do I have to keep buying them? He's like, man, he couldn't figure it out. But I just was testing it out as I was working, and to try to figure out if I run power directly to the each line with a certain amount of bulbs, and it'll work. And sure enough, it did. So for the reefs, I had to have a separate controller for each reef. I mean, a receiver for each reef. So that was two off top. Then I had stake lighting that was on the ground. I had one receiver going to that, and I believe I had like two more on the rooftop, because it was a decent amount of bulbs. I was trying to make sure I was able to get everything to function under one remote with one reaction. So it's definitely a learning curve to it, but I'm finna get to it, man. I gotta untangle these lights and then start getting this stuff put up. I'm gonna start with these stake lighting, so I can get me some short winds. Stake lighting is on the ground. As you guys can see, it actually is wet out here a little bit, so it did rain. Although I might have my roof boots, you don't want to travel on the rooftop, especially when it's wet, because you can slide, and nobody's trying to slide from a rooftop that's 30 feet high. That won't end good. If you guys know, I don't think I said it last year, but I actually broke my ankle. I actually fell off a roof last year. So in the biker world, at least the ATV world, we say in Florida, you ain't a rider until you fall. I was lucky not to, be paralyzed or nothing like that. But I broke my ankle, my foot and ankle, I guess you could say. But it healed up. It took about 6 months to actually heal. Took me out of work for a little bit. So it's one of those things you gotta kind of be prepared for, you know, getting into certain things. And it was just my own negligence is why I fell. I just had left one property, and I didn't secure the stabilizer for the ladder, because it locks in. I didn't double check it. I was like, oh, it's good. I just used it. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm getting it, and I go on top of the roof, and the roof wasn't even that high. I was just going on to the first, level of it, like something like this. Like, of course, you can see that's probably, 50 feet high, 40 feet high. But this part right here is about, maybe 15 feet. So it was me trying to get up on this first piece on a different property or whatever. The stabilizer slipped off the ladder, and I came tumbling down. My leg got caught into the ladder. I don't even really remember exactly how it happened. I feel like I blacked out a little bit, so I can't say, oh, it happened exactly like this. All I noticed is when I did look up, that I could see the ladder, it fell by the door. It went forward, and I was actually in the grass area, which was back. So I was like, I'm just gonna assume that my leg got caught and I fell backwards and whatever. But anywho, I went to get up, man. I thought it was just a little sprain, but when I went to step on it, I was like, ooh, that hurts. That hurt pretty good. So that was my first time actually breaking a bone. Never broke a bone. I always be saying I'm Iron Man. Not in that situation. Broke my ankle, and took me out of work for a little bit. I do landscaping, of course. Wasn't able to do a lot of the install projects because moving around wheelbarrows and doing any type of heavy lifting, it put pressure on my ankle. So I had to make sure I was delegating the projects that I did, set up to do. But it's one of those things where you gotta, I don't know, just be careful and not take for granted, what you're doing, because I could have prevented that situation, and now I'm more, of it. My employees who work with me might think I be tripping, but it was literally something so simple, and I fell and broke my ankle. So it don't require much. It just take you to neglect being careful, and things happen. You know what I'm saying? So I would suggest that for anybody getting into Christmas sliding. But anybody got any questions? Drop some questions, man. Been in the Christmas light business for about 4 years now. It's my fourth season. Um, it's definitely a pretty cool industry to be in. And try to continue to innovate and separate myself from my competition by doing what need to be done to, you know, put myself out there. Got a brand. As you can see, I got an elf hat on, and I don't pop up to a property out of uniform. And every time we come to a property, me and the guys, everybody's an elf. It ain't just me. So it's one of those things. And I think this strand is probably the wrong one. I need to put it on the other side. So I'm looking at these strands. See, this strand is pretty long, right? This strand doesn't go all the way back to the driveway. It stops right here. So being that it's super long, I know this go on that side. So I'm gonna actually move that over. I'll put this down so I can walk. Got that separated out. So the lights did go to the other side of the driveway. You see it starts around there. Show you. I usually leave certain jumper wires hooked to it based off of how I hook it up. I think this time I had this hooked to here, which goes up this crevice to that roof line. That's separate from, of course, the large roof line, but this light goes around I'm gonna stake them in, stake them, and then it ends all the way right here. So that's that first piece. And I believe this is like 50 bulbs, 40 bulbs, if I'm not mistaken. They add up real quick. So this piece, I left a jumper on. You see how I got that hot glue? I know that this hot glue goes between this crevice. So I'm gonna just peel that off and put new glue on. But these stake lights go to this side. And that'll be all for the actual ground lights. Next thing I'm gonna do is actually hot glue the bulbs around the garage. This is usually a time-consuming process, and being at the rooftop is what I want to try to maximize and get what I can get done today. Not gonna play on a wet roof, but I can get a lot done on the ground. If I had an extra hand with me today, it'll be much easier to get what I'm about to do done, because I got a couple glue guns so we can get it done faster. But yeah, man, I definitely dress up as an elf, man. You gotta fit the occasion, man. So when people see me and they see this shirt, they already know what time it is. They know what I'm doing. Yeah. I know a lot of people, it's always a conversation starter. People are like, man, ain't it too early for Christmas? Or ain't it too early for elf? And I'm like, well, I didn't say nothing to nobody when I saw Halloween displays going up in July, late July and August. I didn't say nothing to nobody, so I don't want to hear nothing about am I too early for my, my Christmas and Halloween displays. I try not to do Halloween so much though. My primary focus is Christmas. Reason being is the transition time to actually, from someone coming from a Christmas light display to a Halloween display, there's a short window. So on November 1st is when I used to begin all installs, but as you continue to grow, you get so many clients that you have to start installing those early. The primary month for this style of business is November. So you want to make sure you got November availability open. And then of course, if you got those few clients that, want to request a specific day, like late November or right before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving, be mindful of that and, prioritize that. But trying to get everybody who you installed last year installed this year and earlier is the primary focus. And they don't have to turn them on just because they went with service. They don't mean they have to turn the lights on. Like I put them in place, but I have to turn them on. In this situation, she can turn hers on because she has Halloween and she click a button, she got Christmas, just like that. Different style of display. Different style of display. Flip this thing. Right now I'm just kind of detangling some of these lights and getting them down the driveway. I'm working on the lower half of this house today because I did catch some rain today, so it's wet out. Don't want to travel on a wet rooftop, risk injury and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get what I can get done on the ground. And if that's running power or putting stake lighting in, it's not raining anymore, but it's wet, so I can still make some progress, and that's what I'm doing. I don't want to come to this property and be here tomorrow or the next day for multiple hours doing both of these when I can make some progress right now. It's usually if I got somebody helping me that's starting out new, this is something I start them out with. I say, hey, I show them how to splice wires, of course, and then I show them how to put stake lighting and stuff like that in. But just wanted to share some time with y'all for a moment. I'm about to get off this thing because I need both of my hands to get work done, man. It's hard to record and work if you ain't got a body cam or something. So y'all got any questions, drop them in the comment section. I'll answer them. Been in the Christmas light business for 4 years. I learned a thing or two. I would say every year I'm learning something. I'm growing and innovating, trying to make it better and better each time. Trying to overcome some foreseen challenges over the previous years. Every year is a learning lesson. So, y'all got any questions? Drop them in the comment section. What are y'all doing if y'all got a landscape business in the wintertime? To be honest, I took the back seat on landscaping. Like I haven't mowed a yard and it's been a little minute. I'm gonna just say that. It's been a minute. I've been doing installs here and there, like I did a side installation and stuff. But I took the back seat on landscaping. I've been waiting for this part of the year because this is, where I make my bang for my buck. It's more profitable, etc., etc. So put my energy and focus on, you know, digging this 1-inch hole a mile deep. That's the type of focus I've been trying to put on. It's a lot of background work that go into this, y'all. A lot of background work that you do not see on the front side. A lot of background work. It didn't just happen overnight. I didn't just get, the amount of customers I had overnight and stuff like that. It's definitely a process, but it was intentional. It does require work, man. I was talking to my brother about this earlier today. Sometimes, people have different situations. Like somebody might get into an industry and they have experience from owning the previous business, or somebody might come in with more capital to be able to leverage marketing and things like that so they can get more leads in so they can grow that way. And then you got smaller businesses that want to charge, a higher price point, but they don't have the amount of leads coming in. They don't have the marketing dollars to support it. But it's a gradual process with growth because they're not doing marketing. They're only doing word of mouth, which that should happen anyways. But it's definitely levels to it. And I know a thing or two. I'm the first to say I ain't got it all figured out, but I know a thing or two. Y'all got any questions, man? It's been 22 minutes. I just wanted to babble with y'all because I'm trying to make sure I'm at least giving you guys some formal content. But I'm gonna get off here because I gotta get to work. Y'all have a good one. Comment in the comment section below. I'll be creating a course support, a second half to this video. I gotta put my phone on the charger and show you guys how I'm really installing these lights. Like I just showed you guys the routing, the bulbs, etc. I'll show you guys a little bit more hands-on what I do in the next video. Y'all have a good one. What did I put?